phone?
Both of our phones. Yeah. I have my computer is like my phone.
Okay.
I can text you.
Okay.
No, no, not yet. Not now. Go to YouTube. Check if we are live on Facebook.
So we're live. So if I start picking my nose, people are going to see that. Can I pick my?
Yeah, but just for the phone, like not on real stream. No.
Is this better?
Yeah.
Yep. There we go.
Perfect. Hey guys.
That's you.
Cool.
So okay, Matt, just a minute. So try. We're going to be live on Instagram and TikTok right now. So
I'm going to put
I'll
my.
work on joining this. Once you guys go live.
so we are now live. You can check it, please. See if
There we go.
join our live.
Here we go.
So just accept.
Yep.
Are we live anywhere yet? Should I let people know we're just?
No, yeah, you are.
Just
Facebook
getting
and
ready.
YouTube.
Okay. Hey guys, if you're with us, just stick with us here. We're going to be giving a ton of value and announcing a few things. We're just setting up a few other places. I think we're live on Facebook and YouTube, and then we got TikTok and other places that we're going to be going live. So stick with us. We're going to get Instagram and so forth going.
Check if you received the invitation Matt, for Instagram.
Here we go. Working on Instagram. If we can get there. Any fun Thanksgiving plans, Zach?
We did Thanksgiving yesterday as a family.
Nice.
But my little boy and my dad and I were going to go up to Wyoming. We have some whitetail deer tags, so we're gonna go get some deer meat for
Nice.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I figured that might be part of the plan.
yeah,
This time.
yeah. What about you guys?
We have, let's see, what all are we doing? We're going back and forth between family in a couple different spots, and then my oldest son, he turned 6 on Friday, so very excited about that. But
That's fun, dude.
Had a little bowling alley party yesterday, and gonna be spend a lot of time with family over the holidays, so it'll be fun.
Love it. Yeah, I'm going to take Thursday off, but I'm going to work Friday. I plan on talking to a ton of people actually because of the announcement today. I fully expect to work till 8 p.m. every day this week. So get this, Matt. We're going to have I just got a text message here from my student Lisa Johnson, and I asked her when her deal was closing. I knew she had one pending because I want to get her on the podcast. I knew she's close. And she's closing. It was fun. I said, where is it? I said, when do you close? She said, tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central. So I'm going to get her on the podcast tomorrow. So if y'all that are following me haven't seen my podcast, the Driving for Dollars Mastery podcast, definitely check that out. We go into depth on, not only what I do and when it comes to real estate, how I went from a broke window cleaner to making over $1 million a year doing real estate, which has allowed me to help and serve other people do that as well. Definitely check out that podcast. Matt, that's joining us here live on a couple different platforms. You won't be able to see him, but you'll be able to hear him on other platforms that we're live on right now. Matt has also been on that podcast a few times. So
yeah,
definitely go check that out.
Absolutely. Yeah. I always have a great time. And you put out phenomenal stuff, man. So I'll look for that drop. I'm excited.
Cool. Heck yeah. Well, everyone, I welcome to the live. I assume we have a few people live. We'll have more jumping on live. I want this to be full of Q&A. I want this to be an opportunity to serve many of you as well as a huge announcement. So I'll introduce who we have on today. So it's myself. I am the founder of the Driving for Dollars Mastery System. That is the process of finding off-market, deeply discounted real estate and being able to make a ton of money with those opportunities, whether you wholesale them, flip them, or turn them into rentals. It doesn't matter, just as long as you're starting with a super discounted deal. Like I said, it's what took me from a broke window cleaner. And I use a strategy known as Driving for Dollars. And I've got Matt Camp here from Deal Machine. He's one of the Deal Machine representatives and has really stepped in and helped educate our audience and helped our audience with the systems around the technology we use. So I'll just quickly introduce the audience to Deal Machine that don't know what this is yet, because this is life-changing technology. So when I first kind of got into real estate, I didn't have a lot of money. I was a broke window cleaner, and I was trying to find deeply discounted properties. And what I discovered was I didn't have a lot of money to spend on marketing. I didn't have a way to find, flips or wholesale deals because I just didn't have a lot of money. So I started driving around neighborhoods and finding these like ugly houses or vacant houses. And I'd write down the address and I look up on county records who owned it. And then I would go to like the white pages and try and find out if there was a phone number for the person. It took forever to get a hold of anyone. Thus, I didn't do very many deals, and it was a struggle. And then I hired some people to try and help me with this process. I did a few more deals, but it was still a struggle. Deal Machine has come out with a system where, imagine you have a Google Maps image on your phone, right? Many of you use Google Maps and used your GPS on your phone, right? Well, imagine you have that little blue dot and you can see where you're at. And let's say you see an ugly house. All you got to do is touch that house on the app and it'll upload all the information that you need. It has that and much more, but it's what's allowed me to be struggling and barely have enough money for marketing to getting to the point where I can really compete in a very competitive market like Utah. And it's how my students all across the country are having a ton of success. So I wanted to make a huge announcement that not only myself, but Deal Machine is also giving a huge discount today for what we do. So I wanted to go first, and then we'll let Matt talk about the discount that's available, and then we're going to open it up to Q&A. Okay. So I am offering $1,000 off my Driving for Dollars Mastery program for Black Friday. That sale is going to be running from today, Monday. What is the date? The 21st, until Friday at midnight, on the, 25th? So the way it works, if you go to, what link am I giving? Just dfdmastery.com. Go to DFD, stands for Driving for Dollars, dfdmastery.com. Go type that in and book a time on our calendar. Myself and Stephanie will be taking calls this week. We only can take so many calls, so there's only so many spots available on our calendars. When those spots are full, you will not be able to take advantage of the sale because it has to be within that time frame. So if y'all have been curious about getting started in real estate, you don't have a ton of money like I was when I first started, but you really want to get into this, we're able to flip real estate investment opportunities with no debt, no risk. We find a deeply discounted, crappy house. We pass it on to a flipper, a buy and hold investor with zero risk. This business has completely changed my life, and I love helping other people do the same. So if you're curious about how it's structured and want to take advantage of getting that $1,000 off, make sure you go book a call at dfdmastery.com. And then Deal Machine is an essential partner to what I teach my students and what we use to be able to find these deeply discounted properties. And so many of you listening to this, will want to take advantage of this sale as well. Even some of my students, you may want to take advantage of this. So Matt, take it away, brother. What do you have available for our audience today?
Absolutely. Yeah. And hopefully you don't hear any echo on my end, hopefully. Sound good? All right, awesome. Cool. Let's make it sure. Perfect. Well, on my end, so I'll speak to this a little bit here. One, super excited to be on with you, Zach. I know, like, in general, hey, we're a technology in the end, no matter what. Like, we're a tool that you need to use to be able to be more effective and efficient at what you're trying to do here. But in the end, no matter what, hey, this is a tool. It's still something that requires a lot of hard work. It requires you getting out there and having broader knowledge than that. And that's why we love aligning with you, Zach, is that you teach, the entire system. You have support. You really focus on accountability. You really focus on these other things that a tool can help you be more effective at and more efficient at. But in general, like, hey, you're able to use technology to just be way more effective, way more efficient at these systems and support that you have in place, Zach. So in general, like, hey, that's why we love aligning ourselves with you. I know on our end, I know you gave me a quick little intro. We're Matt Camp over here on Deal Machine really focus on educating our partners and their audiences on how to be successful by driving for dollars and by getting out there and really helping them go find deals. Let's see. Let me know if I need to do anything, Zach, on my end from a feedback standpoint. But yeah, I know in general, like, hey, we're helping you get out there and go find deals. So we give you technology to make it way easier, way quicker to go build a list of highly motivated sellers. And what we love about Driving for Dollars, and really why we created the technology to do this, is that David Lecko, our CEO and founder, this is how he built his business. This is how he solved his own problem using technology. He got out there and created an app to help him go create a list of leads, market to those leads consistently until he closed deals. And he built his own financial freedom doing this. And as he was doing this himself, solving his own problem, he then had friends say, hey, how are you doing this? And he created the Deal Machine app to be a public facing application for them to take advantage of too. So it really came from, him really trying to help his own real estate aspirations and passion there. And that's evolved into something where, hey, Driving for Dollars, this is a strategy that David used and literally thousands of people have used, of going, like Zach had mentioned, drive around and look for these fixer-upper properties. So we want to make it really simple and easy to give you that tool to find those properties, create a list of those properties, and market to those properties through mail, through a variety of marketing methods. So that's just a little bit about us. We've been around for about 5-6 years now. We're the highest rated and most reviewed app out there for investors. So to find off market deals. So love to be able to have that as something we lean back on and say, hey, here's what makes us a little bit unique and how we really measure our success, right? But then outside of that, okay, for today, and really, I know, Zach, you were mentioning, like, hey, we want to give you guys a special offer. This would be for anybody who's a current customer. If you've already working with us, I saw some people in the chat saying that they, love Deal Machine. That's awesome. On Instagram, whether you're a new person really committing to this coming year and saying, hey, yeah, I want to get out there and I want to go find deals. And I want, I believe in the idea of having technology make it way easier and saving a ton of time in that process. Hey, we want to give a Black Friday kind of Cyber Monday deal for you guys specifically to say, hey, here is the best deal you can find versus going through our website. Like, this is going to get you 55% off of Deal Machine for an entire year, where you get everything you need in terms of driving for dollars, of, like I talked about, getting on the map, adding leads, driving around, it tracking your route, it helping you use the highlights feature to go find particular properties. It help you use a drive a list feature to help you import GPS and drive an entire list if you have that. It helps you, have MLS data throughout your entire, throughout the entire app. It gives you MLS comps. I know we talked about that, Zach, the other day on your podcast. Like, it gives you all of that, basically the entire kit to go out and go find that first deal and go find many after that. It also gives you marketing credits to be able to cover a couple hundred free skip traces and postcards too right away. So that way you can go out and start marketing to property owners too. So we want to give you all of that 55% off. If you do dealmachine.com/DFD mastery, that is going to be the link for that. So dealmachine.com/DFD mastery. And it's for an entire 12 months, you'll be looking at $590 for the year. which is, if you went through our website, over $1,300 worth of free stuff. So you're looking at 55% off on all of that, and want to make sure we tailor that specifically for your audience, Zach. So
love it. Love it. Daniel and Laura, can you guys post that link so people can get 50% off Deal Machine? So like I said, guys, thank you, Matt, so much. So like I said, Deal Machine is essential to how we're finding discounted properties, and they're offering 50% off on that right now. And someone asked the question, what is this live about? This is all about adding as much value to you guys as fast as possible and for the best price possible. So I wanted to let Deal Machine offer this discount to the students that are already paying for the stuff, that are already using it, already making money. Take advantage of this sale. For those that are just getting started and wanting to get started in real estate and they don't know how, right? You think you need a ton of money, you really don't. You can use a strategy known as wholesaling. That's where you find a deeply discounted opportunity and you pass it on to a flipper, a buy and hold investor for what's known as an assignment fee. So, just this year, I'm close to the $900,000 mark in assignment fees and money coming in, profits into my wholesaling business. I have students all across the country doing this. We're doing this by using the Deal Machine app and reaching out to those people that we find through that app. So many of you are like, man, I want to get started in real estate. I need help. I don't even know where to start. I don't know anything. I don't have a ton of money, right? I was just there with you not too many years ago, right? And what happened, what really changed my life is hiring a mentor, having someone that I use the analogy of a Lego set, right? Many of you have probably played Legos. I was a Lego nerd growing up. I know that's surprising. I don't seem like a nerd at all, probably to some of you, but Legos, you open up page 1 of the manual and you put the pieces together, and then you go to the step 2 and you put the pieces together. And when you're done, you have this beautiful little creation, right? And I tried to do real estate wholesaling for years, multiple years, reading books, podcasts, YouTubes, and I felt overwhelmed. And what I needed is I needed a manual. I needed a step-by-step manual to put it together to get my first deal, and I needed someone to answer questions when I had them. That coach, Tom Kroll, changed my life. And I've been able to follow in his footsteps and help other people all across the country do that. And I'm doing that. And one of the things that this live is all about is letting you guys know that we're offering $1,000 off of that opportunity, where I give you that step-by-step Lego manual. You have my cell phone. You have my consistent one-on-one support as you go through these deals. So I wanted you guys to take advantage of that. Book the call at dfdmastery.com. Like I said, those times will fill up. The other thing that this live is about, and what we're going to talk about from here on out, really is just Q&A. I want to answer any questions that you guys and gals may have around driving for dollars, around real estate investing, around the current market and the huge opportunities that are right in front of us. Any questions that you guys currently have, I'd like to talk about them. I have a few other things prepared. If I don't have very many questions, have some coming in here now. It said off-market property. Should I double close in every deal or a hashtag over? So for many people that don't know what a double close is, let's say you find a deeply discounted property. Let's say you have it under contract for 100, and an investor will say, I'll pay 150,000 for this house, right? So before you ever even close on the house, you already have someone telling you they'd pay 150 for the same house. You can do what's called an assignment. You can sell that original purchase contract to that end buyer for 50,000. So the end buyer still pays 150. You get 50 as the person that has the purchase contract, and the seller gets the original 100,000, which was agreed to. That's how I do pretty much all my transactions. There's no debt. There's no risk. You can back out of the contracts if they're done correctly. But when it comes to double closing, sometimes people feel like they need to close on the property and immediately resell it. So the seller and the buyer don't know how much money you're making. You can do that. I've done assignment fees for over $105,000, guys. I've coached people for multiple deals over 6 figures. So do you need to double close? Maybe if you don't know what you're doing. But if you know what you're doing, you know how to set those expectations, you can completely avoid that, and keep that in mind. You're going to be losing $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 if you end up double closing for the cost of the money and the cost of the title work that's going to be done, because it gets done twice. So you get charged twice for the same thing. So I don't double close. Someone asked about the cost of the program. So I have multiple options. The biggest thing is if you're curious about the coaching, I highly suggest you just go book the call and talk to us, because what we want to discover in that call, I mean, it's more of a discovery call than anything, is like, what's kept you from being successful? Where are you at right now? What are your goals? If we can break that down, we might be able to guide you in a direction that can help you accomplish the goal, because maybe I'm not a fit for what your goals are. But if they are, I might have multiple options. We have payment plan options. We have multiple options to help you guys. So definitely just go book that call if you're curious about it. Over a monthly subscription. So someone's asking about monthly payment for, I assume this is for Deal Machine. Correct me if I'm wrong, Matt. This 50% off with Deal Machine, that is if they pay for a full 12 months, right?
Yeah, it's for the full 12 months. And that's why we can offer such a great deal like that, is people who are willing to commit and saying, yeah, I'm ready to commit to a full 12 months up front. So unfortunately we have that limitation. But that being said, you can still do a free trial using promo code PIN, so PIN. And that would get you a ton of free marketing credits that way. You can try us out that way. And then this deal, you have until November 28th to upgrade into that and to do a full year of this. So maybe try it out. And if you're able to find that, be in a position to really invest in that, this is the best deal you're going to have compared to through anything on our website.
Love it. Love it. Next question I got here is cash buyers. How do you build a cash buyers list? That's the one thing that's keeping me from getting started. So building your cash buyers list is actually quite easy. One of the first action steps that I give my students is building that cash buyers list. I give them 3 different ways to build that buyers list. Should only take you a couple days if you know what you're doing. If you guys want to go see me build a cash buyers list from scratch, I build a cash buyers list with over 10,000 cash buyers on a 40-day challenge. So I flew to Tampa, Florida. I'd never been there, and the goal is to take $1,000 and turn it into 40 grand in 40 days. I actually turned it into $93,000 in 40 days. Go to my YouTube channel. You can see the playlist. You can watch it there for free. You can see me build that cash buyers list. The funny thing is, on that 40-day challenge, I bought one of the rentals. I bought a rental, and I just blasted out to my cash buyers list just to sell it quickly, because I'm trying to liquidate some of that stuff for rentals here in Utah. And I'm going to make like $20,000 above what I bought it for. And I didn't do anything to the property, just blasting an email blast out this week. So you can go watch that in the 40-day challenge. You can see the process A through Z if you want to see me doing it, and also know how to build that buyers list. But keep in mind, if you don't even know how to build a buyers list yet, I promise you have so many obstacles in front of you. Like, that's great that you know that step 1. That is step 1, building your buyers list. But then you get into, okay, contracts, okay, title company. How do we make sure that we have the proper title company that knows what they're doing? Contracts, negotiations, marketing, finding the sellers, how to market the deals to the end buyers. There's a lot to wholesaling. It's a simple concept of, you got to have a seller at a discount, a buyer that's willing to pay more, and paperwork to put it all together. The concept is easy. The process isn't necessarily the easiest thing, right? Because each individual house will have different problems. So if you watch the 40-day challenge, for example, you'll see that I do 3 deals. One of the deals had probate, meaning that the person that was inheriting the property hadn't finalized the paperwork. The guy died. The 2 sons were inheriting the property, but it had to go through the probate process, which is the legal process to make that happen. And I understood this process and was able to turn it into a $30,000 deal and take the headache off their plates, right? Another one, it was owner occupied, had major issues with the city and code violations stacked up, and I was able to renegotiate with the city some of these code violations. That was a $53,000 deal. The other deal was the seller actually ended up being on my podcast and shared his story. Wealthy investor, tons of rentals, and had 3 he didn't want to deal with because he was fighting cancer and didn't want to deal with the headaches. He knew that he was giving them at a discount. He liked me. It was an incredible experience, right? And those ones were manufactured homes on land, and manufactured properties, manufactured housing is a lot different than, way different than a normal house. And so there's so much unique things that happen from deal to deal that if you don't have someone to go ask and get help from, a lot of the times it's going to stop you in your tracks and keep you from making tens of thousands of dollars because you don't have some simple questions answered. Just a heads up. Okay, as a wholesaler, do I have to pay or put a property under contract? Yes. So what a wholesaler does, what wholesaling real estate is you have a buy and sell agreement, right? Or a purchase agreement between, let's say, Bob is the seller. Okay. Bob needs to sell his house. Doesn't want to deal with it. It's got some fire damage. It's got like 20 cats living in it, right? He doesn't want to deal with it. And so, and he inherited it from his dad. It's been sitting vacant for 5 years. Okay. This is stuff that happens all the time. And people broke into the house, and to keep it warm, they built a fire in the main house. And that's, in the main part of the living room. This is stuff that happens all the time, by the way. So we get a hold of the guy, right? I actually just got a text from someone that knows me, heard my radio ad. It just popped in here, and they want to sell me their house. Like, listen to this text. Okay. Hey, Zach, I got a property we're looking to sell quick. I had a few cash offers come in, but hear your ads on the radio all the time. I thought I'd check and see if you had any interest. I don't even have that number saved. I don't even know who that is. So I'm going to call them after this. But, these are what we're looking for. People that want speed and convenience over price. Once we find them, our buy and sell agreements, they have a paragraph in there that says I can sell that contract to a different person or a different entity for a profit, right? And in there, I'd say, you understand I'm an investor. I'm making money. You understand you're selling them at a discount. I'm very transparent here. I'm offering convenience over price. And they understand that. That's what they want. That's who we're looking for. So I have to have a contract that is assignable, that I can legally assign it, that it's in the paperwork, right? And then once I have the contract, then I can have people come inspect the property and pay me for my contract. But if I'm not a licensed real estate agent, I'm not a licensed broker, I cannot say a house is for sale, that I don't have the rights to assign the contract. I cannot put up a piece of property for sale that is not my own property if I'm not a licensed agent and broker. And if you are an agent or broker, you still have to have a listing agreement with that seller to be able to put a property up for sale. So yes, you have to have a contract to be able to do that. Nice. Beautiful. Another question I hear, can you explain double closing? All double closing is basically you have a seller and you have a buy and sell agreement. You find a buyer that wants to buy it. And instead of just selling the contract to that end buyer and he closes on it, that's wholesaling. What you do is you get what's called transactional funding or your own cash, and you close on it, and immediately at the same time, the end buyer closes on it and buys it. So you're buying and selling it immediately, right? You sit down with the title company and sign all the paperwork for the purchase and the sell. And what that does is it keeps the end buyer from knowing how much you're making as the wholesaler. So honestly, there's not really much value in there. You end up making less money. It's just some people feel worried that their end buyer is not going to like how much money they make. But if you do it right, you set expectations and you know what you're doing, that's just a waste of money. So I don't double close. More questions? I'm sure we have some more people jumping in here that have not been here. This is Q&A. Go ahead and ask us. Also, there's 2 Black Friday announcements. We got one for Deal Machine. There's a link that you guys will have access to in the show notes in the description. We'll drop it again right now. You're going to be able to get 50% off of Deal Machine for the year. You got to sign up for a year.
55 technically.
55%. Thank you, Matt. And then also I'm giving 10% off of my Driving for Dollars Mastery program. What that is my direct access to me, my coaching, me helping you through the deals with the exact action steps to help you do your very first wholesale deal using my Driving for Dollars Mastery system. So, if you guys want to learn more about the Driving for Dollars Mastery program and me helping you through this process, go to dfdmastery.com and book a call with us. Looks like we got some more questions. How should a wholesaler move in a market in a recession? With such a big increase in interest rates? Yes, I'm actually very, very, very excited about the current economic situation. So, many of you probably have thought this yourselves, or you have known someone that has said, man, if I would have just bought some properties back in 2009 and 10 and 11 and 12 and 13, I would be so rich now. I wished I wouldn't have sold the properties back then. I would be so rich now. What happens over and over and over and over is ups and downs in our economic cycles. Okay, so on average, it's about every 7 years. It's been a long time since we've had a major recession, and we're coming into one. What's going to happen is house prices are going to drop. A lot of people are going to be losing their jobs over the next 3 months. Many, many, many people have been laid off in the last few weeks. Many of my friends and family have been laid off, right? It's going to create a massive amount of opportunity if you know what you're doing. There's going to be a massive amount of people that are hurt financially. And it's sad because it does not have to be that way. It is that way because they have a lack of understanding. If you know what you are doing, there has never been a bigger opportunity in front of you since 2008. It has been over a decade. I have been waiting for this moment for years. I thought this moment was here back in 2020 when they announced all the shutdowns with COVID. I actually sold a bunch of my rentals to liquidate cash and be ready for it. And I've been sitting on cash for 2 years kicking myself, right? Because the government printed a ton of money. But there's only so long that they can hold out. And what the feds have done is jacked up the interest rates, right, to curve the inflation and drop the value of everything. What's going to happen is all these layoffs. It's going to cause people to need to sell their house. With interest rates up, house prices will drop because affordability will change, and it's going to force people to go to foreclosure or short sell their properties. And if you remember back in 2011 and 12, kind of when I started, most of the listings on the MLS were short sales and pre-foreclosures and foreclosures. And there's never been a better time, honestly. So honestly, I'm so excited for what's in front of us. It's just how important it is for you guys to take ownership of your financial situation. I cannot tell you how many times in my life I've been told to get a safe and secure job, work for the government, get a safe, secure job, go get a degree. That it does not equal financial intelligence. And that's what I want to help people do. That's what my podcast, my TikTok, my YouTube, my Facebook, that's why I do social media, is I want to help people. And those that want my direct help, one-on-one support, that's what the Driving for Dollars Mastery program is all about. But if you know what you're doing, you should be excited, not fearful.
Yeah, just to add on to that really quick, Zach, as well. I know we've been really focused on teaching people, saying like, hey, as an investor, as a wholesaler, like your whole goal is to solve problems for people. You know, you're offering speed and convenience and cash, and people are trading a great deal for that, or trading a piece of equity for that, right? So in times of any kind of slowdown or recession or anything like that, there's just more people that have problems that you can go out and solve. So now is a great time to be thinking about this, getting into this and learning, like you said, Zach, so that way you know what to do, and you know what you are doing over the next couple of years.
100%. Yeah, it's like the people that didn't take advantage of 2011, 2012, right? Me, I bought one rental, but I didn't take advantage of it. Why? Because I didn't know what I was doing. The people that take advantage of it are the ones that understand how to do it, right? And so if you don't know how to do it, this opportunity is going to pass you by, and you're just going to be another one of those people that's like, man, if I would have, I could have. You're just going to be another one of those stories, and it doesn't need to be that way. And I was that story 8 years ago. It's not going to be me this time. So had some more questions here. How much do you expect? Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I was going to mention, I saw Matt Tasher asked about the Deal Machine discount. Is it good for the Pro Plan as well? If you email me directly, just matt@dealmachine.com, I'll be able to hook you up, and we'll be able to give you something special there. So make sure to just reach out to me if you're looking at the Pro Plan.
Love it. Love it. Someone said, how much should I expect to spend every day to find a property? So it depends largely on the market that you're in. So the hard part is your average deal size is going to change depending on where you live. So what I suggest is 10% of whatever the house is worth fixed up. So let's say you're in Indiana and your houses in the area are worth 150,000 fixed up. Well, your average deal size should only be about 15,000. But if you're in Utah, my average deal size is over $30,000. And if you're in California, it's higher. If you're in Seattle, it's higher, right? And so your cost per deal, the cost to find a deal, is also going to be higher if your average deal size is higher. The biggest thing is you don't want to spend more than 25% of your deal on marketing to find it. If you do it correctly, if you know what you're doing with your marketing, you should not spend more than 25 cents to make $1. So think about this. If you went to a slot machine, right? And you threw in a quarter and $1 popped out. And then you threw in $1 and $4 popped out. And you threw in $4 and $16 popped out. And you just kept throwing that money back in and more keeps coming out. Are you ever going to stand up? I hope not. I would probably die sitting there at that slot machine, just throwing more money in. If you have a marketing system that works, you truly understand that's what it is. It's a money machine. You throw in a certain amount and a certain amount comes out. So, one of the reasons I've been so successful in real estate investing and my students are so successful, more importantly, is I have a systemized way of finding sellers where I do not spend more than 25 cents to make $1. So that would be how I could explain it, right? To get started, how much do you need to spend? You're probably going to need at least $500 a month to spend on marketing, right? That's going to cover your Deal Machine app and your outreach strategies and what I teach. So, needing to have at least $500 a month in marketing. Someone asked, how do you find a title broker? I assume, title officer or yeah. So there's a couple ways. My favorite way is I want to find who is currently being used. So if you're in Utah, I'll tell you who my title officer is. She's absolutely amazing. She's a ton of fun. Makes me laugh every time I go see her, and she does an amazing job. Really does. I've gone through 4 different title companies and title officers, and Corey's never dropped the ball. Her name's Corey Cannon. She's at Stewart Title here in Layton. Doesn't matter where you are in Utah. If you're in Utah, you can use her. She's incredible. So there you go. If you're in Utah, use her. That's who I use. And if you're outside of Utah, if you end up joining the Driving for Dollars Mastery program, you can network with the other wholesalers. I have wholesalers all across the country doing deals. You just ask them who they're using. But if you're not going to join the Driving for Dollars Mastery program, you can reach out to other wholesalers in your area. That's who I suggest, because there's a lot of title officers or escrow companies, whatever you call them, wherever you are in the country, right? There's a lot of them that do the traditional real estate stuff, but have no clue how to do a wholesale transaction. Many officers, title officers, and even real estate attorneys don't even know what it is. So just a heads up there. Let's see. People are wanting steps to the title company. There's multiple steps there. That's probably all right. Let's do this. So you have 2 separate contracts, okay? You have a contract between you and the seller and you and the buyer. So whenever you get the contract between you and the seller, you take that contract to the title company. My students get a breakdown of exact expectations from the title company, right? And they have 24, 48-hour expectations from the title company. But more than anything, the title company's job at that point is to make sure that there's no liens, judgments, or anything unforeseen on the payoff of that loan. Because let's say you have a buy and sell agreement for $100,000 on the house, but there's a loan for 90 and they're supposed to get 10 grand. But what they didn't know is there's a $30,000 judgment from the city for not cutting their grass for 15 years. Straight up, I've seen it, right? And so then you need to know that fast, so then you can go to the city and renegotiate and try and get that down so we can close, because they can't give us the house for $100,000 if they owe 120 for payoff, right? Then the next part is we got to go find a buyer and get that assignment contract. Once we get that assignment contract, we got to take that to the title company. There's also money being transferred from both parties, and that's got to be sent over as well. So there's a little bit to it, but more than anything, there's 2 different contracts that need to be sent over. So hopefully that helped give you some idea of what's going on there. So are people scared of buying / selling due to the market? 100%. Yeah. A lot of the buyers are nervous right now. And they should be terrified. A lot of buyers that I know, a great friend of mine who's also by podcast, love him to death, just like the most humble, hardworking, intelligent, experienced investor. I go to him for counsel a lot, and he had like 50 flips going when house prices dropped a few months ago. His expectations to lose a couple $1 million, but that guy makes so much money, he just hasn't reserves, right? Can't even imagine, right? Just $2 million. $2 million. I had in reserves, no big deal. But yeah, that's not where I am at yet. But yeah, there are people that have lost some money. That's why I love wholesaling, right? Is because I don't have to take those risks. I don't take those risks. I didn't lose any money. I didn't lose any money with this recession. That's the beauty of it, right? I'm making a ton of money. I'm going to continue to make a ton of money, and I'm going to continue to make a lot more money as these opportunities shift towards the buyer. So there are people that are nervous, but all you're having to do is negotiate a little bit better, right? So we're still doing deals like last month. One of the hardest months of the year by far. We still generated about $55,000. This month, we're probably going to be pretty close to that as well. And these are tough months generally because of the holidays. So we're still doing deals, not worried about it at all. So I need a better skip tracing service. Right within the Deal Machine app, if you use a discount code, if you've never got Deal Machine, right, you can take advantage of that 50% off of that link we're sharing with you. But if you can't afford to pay for the entire year, one thing that we have as well, and if you use that discount link for 50% off, or if you use the discount code PIN, PIN, one of the things that you get is $100 for free for skip tracing. So what is skip tracing? If you're new, let's say you get the address of an owner and the name. Skip tracing is basically just getting that information and turning it into a phone number. So you need a name and an address to get a phone number, right? We call it skip tracing in the real estate world. So someone's asking, how do I get better phone numbers? Deal Machine does a great job getting phone numbers. And if you use a discount code PIN, you're going to get $100 worth of phone numbers for free because of that discount. So Matt could speak on that. They do a great job of getting quality data and sourcing that.
Yeah, I'll just mention really quick there within our skip tracing in general. And there, we've done us versus any other options out there, and there's nothing better out there in terms of data accuracy and return rate. I know we have about a 95% return rate, and then a 30 to 35% right contact rate within those return numbers. So if you get a handful of return numbers, highly likely that you have the right number to call. So right within the app, you can do one-off skip tracing or bulk and go in and say, hey, yeah, skip trace, 20 properties or 2,000 all at once. So and you can do that on the go in the mobile app or on the desktop app, the dealmachine.com version as well.
Awesome. Perfect. Someone just said they're grateful for us doing this live and answering questions. 100% happy to help you guys. It's crazy to me to think back through my journey of wanting to get started in this and being hungry for a better financial life. And I really don't think I'm anything special in comparison to so many wonderful people out there. There's so many people that work harder than me. There's so many people smarter than me. The biggest difference is I met a man who gave me the step-by-step action steps and was available to answer my questions, right? I took my work ethic. I do have a work ethic. You cannot do this without a good work ethic, right? If you're like, oh, I'm never going to get a 9 to 5 because it's just not worth it. I worked well over 9 to 5 to feed my family, take care of my family. That's why I went to work, was to take care of them. And I wanted to do more. I wanted to provide a better life. I didn't want to fight over a $20, DVD player with my wife, right? Like that was just not where I wanted to be. I didn't feel worthy of love because I wasn't giving the life to my family that I wanted to. And maybe many of you are in that same boat, and it does not have to be that way. You know, please, if you're on the fence, like, let me talk to you. Let Stephanie talk to you this week about how I can support you, how I can help you through this process, right? I want to give you the step-by-step action steps. I want to give you my cell phone to support you through this process of doing your very first wholesale deal. It is completely life-changing. I remember the day I walked into the title company and picked up my first $10,000 check. It took me about 4 hard weeks of a lot of hard work and feeling really uncomfortable. When I cashed that check, it was life-changing. 8 months later, I walked into the bank and wrote a $50,000 check and paid off all my debts, right? Paid off all my vehicles. It was something that I never imagined possible. I was writing checks for what I was making per year, right? Like it was liberating. It was totally liberating. And then it's allowed me with time to do things that actually are more meaningful to me than just chasing the dollar. It's doing things like this. It's doing the podcast for free, the TikTok for free, the Instagram reels, what did I miss? The YouTube for free, right? Doing that 40-day challenge and making $93,000 in 40 days and documenting it and sharing that with you guys. Like I really didn't even care about the $93,000, which is crazy. Like it wasn't even like, oh, cool, I made 93,000. It was, oh, cool, I accomplished the goal and we created amazing content that's going to bless a ton of lives. Like when you finally get to the point where you get to take care of your family and support your family and then get to do something else that fulfills you. And maybe you want to do ministry. Maybe you want to, just spend a ton of time with your kids. Maybe you want to coach your kids' sports, right? Maybe you want to go to your kids' Halloween parade and you can't. Right? Like not being able to live that life sucks, and it does not have to be that way. And I want to help you guys change that. I'm going to answer. What time are we ending this? We're ending this 3 minutes, 15, 13.
I said I will have to, Zach. Speaking of the coaching the kids, I will have to run in about 3 minutes to go do that. Okay. But feel free to keep running with it.
Okay, love it. So I'm going to stick with you guys. Do we have any questions that are specifically towards Matt and towards Deal Machine for the last 3 minutes that he has? Let's go ahead and let those come in. And I've got more questions here I'll answer, but I'll let Matt go. You did since I just wanted to add. Oh, I think these are more for me that I have here. Did you? Oh, you sent me one. Oh, here's one for you, Matt. He said, can I still get the discount code if I already have an account? So they're wanting to get 50% off. They already have an account. Can they do that?
Yeah. So if they work with me directly too, we'll be able to hook you guys up. So matt@dealmachine.com. Reach out to me direct if you're a current customer. And, we want to help out Zach's entire community. I know, Zach, I mean, you're every time I get on these, you're incredibly inspiring, man. So really, really appreciate the words of encouragement through all this. And, thankful for you. I know it's Thanksgiving this week. So thanks again for having me on. And I want to be a resource for everybody. So feel free, just matt@dealmachine.com. Feel free to shoot questions over that way. I'm happy to help.
Beautiful. Thanks so much, Matt. Enjoy the kids. Enjoy Thanksgiving.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Appreciate it.
All right, brother. All right. I'm going to answer the next question. Since the benefits are shifting the sellers currently, how would you go about finding buyers if you don't have a list of them currently? So some of the same ways I used before, I mentioned the 40-day challenge, building a cash buyers list for the 40-day challenge. You guys can go watch that. And it's one of the things that I also teach in the coaching program. One thing to keep in mind too is the structure that I have between the seller and me as the buyer will shift as well. Not just how I'm passing the deals and who's buying those deals, but creative finance will become more of a thing. There'll be shifts in opportunities, right? That I'm very much looking forward to. So, definitely align yourself with a good mentor or a good mastermind or a good group of people that can help you take advantage of these opportunities that are right in front of us. So what is a buying formula to use to wholesale in today's market? So you got to make sure you're getting them at a much lower price today than you got them before. So what we've currently done over the last 3 months, and this will continue to shift as the needs and desires of the sellers shift. I'll explain my buying criteria and how I evaluate deals right now, but let me first just say this. The reason I am successful at real estate wholesaling, the reason people work with us over other wholesalers and other investors is we're very good at listening and asking intelligent questions and figuring out the needs of the seller, the problems, the time frames, the moving out situations, the stuff they have at the house. And we try and structure an offer that fits their needs and takes care of their problems. Okay, so that's what makes us so successful. So when it comes to what we can pay as far as a cash offer, the equation that I use is this. I'm going to give you the equation. Okay, it's after repair value. So what it's worth fixed up. You figure out that number. Deal Machine has an option that you can look up what properties they're selling for in the area, actual access to the MLS, right? Which is basically exclusive data just for real estate agents. You can get it through your Deal Machine app, but you got to figure out what that house is worth fixed up. Once you figured that out, right? Any properties that have sold within the last, it used to be every 6 months to a year, right? And it's probably worth more than that because things are inflating. But what I found is I'm going to look at properties that have sold within the last 2 months is ideal only on my comparables. And then I'm still going to subtract about 5 to 10% off of what they sold for a month to 2 months ago, because a lot of buyers are expecting prices to continue to plummet as interest rates go up and as more people are needing to sell. The days on market are increasing, the amount of inventory is increasing. So you just got to negotiate it at a lower and lower and lower price. It'll get to a certain point where people will become upside down on their mortgages that have purchased in the last 3 years or so, 4 years, depending on your market. And in those situations, there's taking over people's mortgages, which is called a sub-2 or a wrap. You can call it multiple different things. But you only figure those things out by asking them questions and figuring out what their needs are, right? So there's always going to be opportunities. And I'm sure people are going to be like, well, I don't have the money to buy a rental. I don't have the money to do seller finance. Well, you don't need to. You can write up the contracts and assign those contracts. You don't need to be the person buying the creative finance. I've done a bunch of those deals. So here's the formula. Sorry, I got derailed there. The formula is after repair value within the last 2 months, subtract about 10%. That's your after repair value. Okay. Then I times that by 0.92. That's going to get rid of 8%. That 8% is basically reselling costs, real estate agents, money costs. Okay. So after repair value minus 10%, times that by 0.92, subtract your rehab costs, subtract the cost or the profits to the flipper, a minimum of $20,000 in profits, or if it's more than 20,000, at a 10% of the after repair. So if the after repair is 300,000, they're going to want to make about $30,000 on their rehab. If the after repair is only, let's say, 100,000, they're still going to want to make 20 grand for their hassle. Okay, so keep that in mind. Rehab costs minus profits to the flipper, that's your break-even number. Anything you negotiate under that is going to be profits for you. And I think that's okay. Here we go. Do you have a seller script? I like the way you talk to the seller on the 40K challenge. So I'm going to give you guys a little secret today. One of the things that I teach my students is I give them a negotiation tactic, right? And you might be like, ooh, he's going to share some secret how to take advantage of people's, shame on him. It's not it at all. So the filter is this. If your negotiation strategy changes because a family member that you love calls you and says, "Hey, I need to sell my house. Can you help me?" If your negotiation strategy and the communication changes, you're doing it completely wrong. Say that again. If a family or friend calls you and the way you talk to that seller changes, you're doing it wrong. So let's think about how you would talk to a family member if they called you, right? You'd be like, "Well, let's call him, let's say my brother Sam calls me. Okay. I love my brother Sam, my oldest brother, greatest guy, great dad, love him to death. So my brother Sam calls. He says, "Sam, he says, Zach, I got this house. I don't want to deal with it. I can't pay my mortgage. I don't want to deal with it." Right. And it's like, "Well, Sam, you might be able to actually make more money not working with me. Like, why did you call me?" "Well, because I just need to be done quickly. I haven't made a payment in 2 months. I just need to be done with it." It's like, "Well, you know, you might be able to just list it with a real estate agent. You might be able to fix up some of the things that need to be finished and maybe even do some updating. You have some construction experience. Like, why don't you fix it up? Maybe sell it for more and list it with an agent." "I don't want to deal with it. I don't want the time. I don't want the hassle." Right? That's what we're looking for. You might not think that it's possible to have people be like, "No, no, no, I don't want more money. I don't want to deal with the hassles. I want to sell it now as is." Right? But if you watch my 40-day challenge, and as you mentioned, you liked how I negotiated on the 40-day challenge, that's how I negotiated. I talked about all their different options. I invited them to work with someone else, and I would get paid and they'd get paid more. And if you pay attention, day 4 of the challenge, I talked to Stan. I got 3 properties, over 6 figures in profits between those 3 properties, kept 2 as rentals. It's why I didn't count it towards the 93,000. But I said, "Stan, you'd probably make more money. They're completely fixed up. Why don't you just list them?" And his exact words were, "I don't care." That's what he told me. "I don't care." I said, "Great. I'd love to meet with you. I'd love to help you and see what price makes sense. I still need to make a profit. I know. I understand that. I'm completely okay with that." The dude was a wealthy investor himself. He did not want to deal with them. He had a ton of different properties, but these were the 3 that were a thorn in his side. He was fighting cancer. His wife was more than capable of taking care of the properties. Those were just ones that were further away with bad tenants and problematic situations that he just wanted to go to, to pass on from this life at peace, knowing that his wife was taken care of and some of the last burdens were taken care of. He willed and dealed for years, and we spent 3 hours at his house talking about how he'd willed and dealed and negotiated his way into wealth. Right? And so you need to understand that we're not taking advantage of people that are down and out on their luck, that are poor, that are struggling, that need to squeeze every penny out of the deal. We're looking more importantly for wealthy, tired landlords, people that inherit properties that just don't want the burdens and the headaches. They want speed and convenience over price. So you need to understand that my negotiation tactic has everything to do with finding the right person, even more so than my ability to convince anyone. I don't convince anyone of anything. I qualify people. Okay. So hopefully that helps. So great question. Is the program geared towards beginner investors? So it's geared for people that have done a couple deals and struggling to do more, and for people that have never done a deal. That is who I mostly help. So let me break it down, right? What you get in the Driving for Dollars Mastery program. You're going to be getting a step-by-step action course, right? It's like your Lego manual, like I talked about before. It's steps 1 through 10, right? It's exactly what you need to do in the right order. Beyond that, and the most important value that you're going to get is me. You're going to get my personal cell phone to help you through your deals. We're going to be getting on group coaching calls. We have a community where you can network and work with other people as well. You have multiple ways to get support from me. You're going to get a ton of value, not just from the action steps of doing the work, but helping you through the process when you have tens of thousands of dollars on the line with the deal. So if you guys have any curiosity about how exactly it's structured and how I can help you and payment plan options or how much it costs, all those things, just jump on a call with us. Like I said, it's our Black Friday sale. ends midnight on Friday, the 25th. So go book a call. Go to dfdmastery.com. Book a time on our calendar. When that calendar is full, we are full. I assume we're getting people applying as well. Yeah, definitely have people jumping in and booking. So make sure you go fill those up because our times are filling up quickly. Okay, everyone, thank you so very much for joining us. Take advantage of these deep discounts. If you're already using Deal Machine, go get 50% off or 55% off, as Matt would say. And if you're curious about the Driving for Dollars Mastery program, love to help you guys out. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you around.